Monday mentions always check the food sugar content per serving and add up, do the math. That way you know how much of this actual toxic poison you're having per day in your daily value content. If you look at these facts on sugar and what it does to the body, it does not break down this bleached, mucus forming, toxifying agent that creates a strong addiction in the body. This is Monday Mentions, where we mention what most don't. Half of ketchup's content is sugar. Look at how much sugar is in the average food soft drink. They need phosphoric acid to cut it so you don't actually have a nauseous reaction on impact as soon as it hits your stomach bile. So please keep this in mind and learn from the mistakes of our predecessors. It's a highly mucus forming food and one of the top 4 to avoid. Top Tip Tuesday, is it you in control or the sugar? It's more addictive than cocaine or heroin. Listen close and comment to detail.
Drink sugar water.
In a recent study, 43 cocaine-addicted laboratory rats were given the choice of cocaine or sugar water over a 15-day period. 40 out of the 43 chose the sugar. In another study, rats on a sugar water diet exhibited telltale signs of addiction, binging, craving, and withdrawal when the sugar was taken away.
Food addiction is a real thing. It's not a metaphor. It's a biological fact. The studies show that your brain lights up with sugar just like it does with cocaine or heroin. In fact, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So if you start your baby early on addictive, highly sugary foods, they're going to become...
Don't create problems money can't fix. Live clean. Zenification. What sugar does every bite. Listen and comment detox.
Well, it starves the body. It's called a dehydrating food and a starvation food. In order to make the white sugar, you have to take out all the fiber, all the vitamins and minerals, and all the water that will come with the sugar cane or sugar beets. And when you eat the white sugar, the body says, I'm going to put back the water, the vitamins and minerals, and bran that was with the sugar cane before it was processed. So it strips the body of its moisture. And it causes the moisture to come out of the nerves, and the nerves begin to fall apart and get damaged, and it ended up with senile dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, nerve damage related diseases, multiple sclerosis, lupus. All those are caused by the sugar pulling the moisture out of the nerves, or it pulls it out of the joints and muscles, ended up with rheumatism, arthritis. It pulls the moisture out of the eyes, dries the eyes, and the nerves in the eyes fall apart, and you end up being blind, and diabetes is leading cause of...
Food Fact Friday, big myth. Fruit sugar is the best for you. Hydrates the body like no other. Look up H3O, and it's intrinsic, the type that the body runs on, energy for the day and more. So when you see people talk about limiting it, understand that it reverses acidosis and strengthens your cells, creating the environment that cancer and all these illnesses can't even think about thriving in. When you learn how to properly prepare the body, you'll see a completely different result as you get older. So please pay attention to all the illnesses that have been proven, unlike, all these sugary drinks here that you see that are literally creating obesity and diabetes by the second. Take your life by the hold, get fruit in your diet like everyone on Zenification, and literally detox and experience true energy, just like everybody you see here in this platform, taking advantage of the benefits on a daily. Don't create problems that money can't fix. Comment change for help. Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Do you emotionally binge because you're upset or because the sugar's telling you?
What turns the sugar quickly? White potatoes and French fries. And white rice. Sugar. Sugar is emotionally attached to a feeling. See, I'm back to emotion. Remember, your culture gives you emotions. Your reaction to your emotion is a feeling. I'm back to that. The inability to love, give love, or receive love is related to sugar. The sugar represents the love of your birthday, your love of a holiday, Christmas. So if you can't manifest love in your life, you eat the sugar, you eat the love. You see? It's emotional dysfunctionality at its best. That's why women will be up late at night eating ice cream, because they're trying to eat the love they can't get from Leroy. You follow me?
New research coming out of some of America's most respected institutions is starting to find that sugar, the way many people are eating it today, is a toxin and could be a driving force behind some of this country's leading killers, including heart disease. As a result of these findings, an anti-sugar campaign has sprung up, led by Dr. Robert Lustig, a California endocrinologist, who believes the consumption of added sugars has plunged America into a public health crisis.
Is sugar toxic?
I believe it is.
Do you ever worry that it just sounds a little bit over the top?
Sure, all the time. But it's the truth.
Dr. Robert Lustig is a pediatric endocrinologist at the University of California, San Francisco, and a pioneer in what is becoming a war against sugar.
Deep breaths.
Motivated by his own patients, too many sick and obese children, Dr. Lustig has concluded that sugar, more than any other substance, is to blame.
What are all these various diseases that you say are linked to sugar?
Obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease itself.
Lustig says the American lifestyle is killing us.
And most of it, you say, is preventable.
75% of it is preventable.
While Dr. Lustig has published a dozen scientific articles on the evils of sugar, it was his lecture on YouTube called Sugar, the Bitter Truth, that brought his message to the masses.
I'm standing here today to recruit you in the war against bad food.
By bad food, Dr. Lustig means the obvious things, such as table sugar, honey, syrup, sugary drinks, and desserts, but also just about every processed food you can imagine, where sugar is often hidden. Yogurts and sauces, bread, even peanut butter. And what about the man-made, often vilified sweetener, high fructose corn syrup?
Is it worse than just table sugar?
No, because it's the exact same. They are basically equivalent. Problem is, they're both bad. They're both equally toxic.
Since the 1970s, sugar consumption has gone down nearly 40%. But high fructose corn syrup has more than made up the difference. Dr. Lustig says they are both toxic because they both contain fructose. That's what makes them sweet and irresistible.
We love it. We go out of our way to find it. And I think one of the reasons evolutionarily is because there is no foodstuff on the planet that has fructose that is poisonous to you. It is all good. So when you taste something that's sweet, it's an evolutionary Darwinian signal that this is a safe food.
We were born this way.
We were born this way.
Central to Dr. Lustig's theory is that we used to get our fructose mostly in small amounts of fruit, which came loaded with fiber that slows absorption and consumption. After all, who can eat 10 oranges at a time? But as sugar and high fructose corn syrup became cheaper to refine and produce, we started gorging on them. Americans now consume 130 pounds per person a year. That's a third of a pound every day. Dr. Lustig believes those sweeteners are helping fuel an increase in the most deadly disease in America, heart disease. For years, he's been a controversial voice.
Here is our oral isotope.
But now studies done by Kimber Stanhope, a nutritional biologist at the University of California, Davis, are starting to back him up. She's in the middle of a groundbreaking 5-year study which has already shown strong evidence linking excess high fructose corn syrup consumption to an increase in risk factors for heart disease and stroke. That suggests calories from added sugars are different than calories from other foods.
The mantra that you hear from most nutritionists is that a calorie is a calorie is a calorie.
And I think the results of the study showed clearly that is not true.
Stanhope's conclusions weren't easy to come by. Nutrition studies are expensive and difficult. Stanhope has paid groups of research subjects to live in this hospital wing for weeks at a time, under a sort of 24-hour lockdown. They undergo scans and blood tests. Every calorie they ingest meticulously weighed and prepared.
They're never out of our sight. So we do know that they are consuming exactly what we need them to consume.
And they're not sneaking any candy bars on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first few days, participants eat a diet low in added sugars, so baseline blood levels can be measured.
So remember, you guys have to finish all your Kool-Aid.
Then 25% of their calories are replaced with sweetened drinks. And Stanhope's team starts drawing blood every 30 minutes around the clock. And those blood samples? They revealed something disturbing.
And what are you starting to see?
We found that the subjects who consumed high fructose corn syrup had increased blood levels of LDL cholesterol and other risk factors for cardiovascular disease.
How quickly did these changes occur?
Within 2 weeks.
Kimber Stanhope's study suggests that when a person consumes too much sweet stuff, the liver gets overloaded with fructose and converts some of it into fat. Some of that fat ends up in the bloodstream and helps generate a dangerous kind of cholesterol called small dense LDL. These particles are known to lodge in blood vessels, form plaque, and are associated with heart attacks.
Did it surprise you when you first got these results back?
I would have to say I was surprised because when I saw our data, I started drinking and eating a whole lot less sugar. I would say our data